Hello, this is Colleen. I thought I would give a audio response to what this week is going to look like, as opposed to just a written comment of instruction. And so, going to walk through workshop 13. This workshop really pulls together the work that you've done in looking at learning theory, developmental theory, generational theory, and Westerhoff's conversation about paradigms, because he emphasizes the need for community and faith enculturation, which is really intergenerational faith formation. And so this week is pulling together all of those concepts to say, okay, first of all, what is intergenerational faith formation? How do you define it in light of the authors and everything else? Alan and Ross, I know it's a lot to consume in a short period of time. The good news is, part one is setting up the background. That'll be important to read. Part two is really lots of learning theory and developmental theory that you've already engaged. Part three is generational theory, which again, you have a background on. And then part four is the real specific practical application of intergenerational theory. So knowing all of that, you can actually read the book quicker than if this was all just brand new material, because it's not, obviously, to you. We've been engaging all of these concepts. This book just culminates in this final, that's how it all fits. That's why we discussed all the other stuff. Because when we come together as a community, we're not coming together just as a single generation. Even if you say, you know what, I have a youth ministry and I only have the adult leaders and the teens. You still have multiple generations, a minimum of two, probably more than two present. And so you have multiple generations. How do we do intergenerational faith formation? What is it? How do we do it? What value does it play in congregational formation? Remember, congregational formation relies on the assumption that true faith formation requires being in community. Bonhoeffer, Wesley, remember? All of that conversation about we've got to be in community. That's a pivotal point in spiritual formation, is congregational formation. And of course, as the individuals are formed, the congregation is formed as well. So we know community is vital. We know all of our communities consist of more than one generation. But many of us, I was in children's ministry for years and years. And I'm going to be honest, most of the approach was multi-gen, not intergen. Multi-gen, in which I had leaders from various adult generations who were leading, feeding into, teaching, nurturing the children. One directional. That's multi-gen. Please do not confuse the terminology. There is a significant difference between multi-gen and intergen. I'm not going to tell you what intergen is, other than it's not multi-gen. Okay? And so I really want you to explore it. Now, you read an entire book. You have two discussion forums. 13.1 doesn't require engagement with others. 13.2 does. And then you have your submission, which is demonstrating to me how you see how this all fits. That's what you're going to have to do in this paper. See how it all fits. Demonstrate that you know what you're talking about. And then offer some practical response. Identifying this is what we already do. We already got it going on, and this is how we're doing it. This is where we could strengthen it. Here are some opportunities to strengthen it through practices and or programs. And then talk about, but what are the challenges? What are the significant challenges? And those probably will relate to learning theory, developmental theory, generational theory. Okay? All of that stuff are your biggest challenges in this endeavor. So this week, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm really starting to crack down in terms of grading in the discussion forums because I really want to see depth of thought and engagement there. So if you give quick, short, now I know short doesn't necessarily not mean deep. I get it. But And as is lengthy doesn't necessarily mean deep either. Short doesn't mean it's not deep. Lengthy doesn't mean it is. Sorry. Anyway, I know that, but I want to see depth of thought. I want to see depth of engagement and with each other. Get some dialogue going, get some peer learning happening back and forth. 13.2 is the only one that you've got to have a conversation with. So let me see that happening. All right. As always, any questions, let me know. But please know, this is the week that it's coming together, and we are getting really, really close. What you did last week, what you're doing this week, all of this content will go forward with you in the final week. So you are basically writing your final application paper in these weeks. All right. So I look forward to your work. I look forward to having conversations on the discussion forum. Please let me know if you have any questions along the way. And otherwise, I'll see you on the discussion forum. Bye-bye.